of Test cricket. The pitch had plenty for the bowlers, but then the Indian batsmen also applied themselves. 172 for 3 India at the moment. Virat Kohli 82 not out, and you've also got Ajinkya Rahane. He's reached his half century as well. That partnership has allowed India to claw back into the game. That after Australia had notched up 326 runs in their first innings. Joining me, Murli Karthik, VVS Lakshman, Damien Martin. We begin as always with you rating a few aspects of the game. Okay, we'll start with VVS this time. Again, you remember the scale? 1 to 10?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, India's bowling in the first session?
6.
I would give them 7.
Damien?
7.
7, okay. Nathan Lyon's performance so far?
7.
8.
8. Okay, interesting. I'll dwell on
7.
that a little bit. Okay, Damien goes with 7. Rahane's innings?
10 out of 10.
12 out of 10.
Whoa. Okay, Damien?
Oh, you guys are biased. I got 8.
8. Okay. Kohli's innings?
Unmatched.
That-
It's infinity.
That's a problem when you're already given it 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Has to be 10 out
15
of
on
10.
10.
No, but 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, both the
for him as
batsmen are
well.
fantastic.
Okay, Damien?
All 10s. All 10s.
All
Yeah.
10.
Fantastic.
Okay, Australia's pace bowlers?
Again, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Damien?
Yeah. I'm going 6.
Okay, let me put that question to you. Why 6 then?
I want more wickets.
Okay. No, I mean in general, you haven't been impressed with the way they bowl?
I think they've bowled well. I mean, I think, look, Kohli's played outstanding. I mean,
Yeah.
to go high, you want more wickets, obviously, and it's been a good contest today. I mean, it's a great partnership,
Yeah.
and it's a great fight on between batsman and bowler.
The reason I asked that question is, yes, not too many wickets to show for, but were you impressed with the way they bowled or not?
They could have been much better. And this I tell the way they bowled to Rahane, because you got the wicket of Pujara. Someone like Virat Kohli was really looking, he was dominating the innings. But what I felt was they gave too many loose deliveries to Rahane, because if you see the scoring areas of Rahane, square of the wicket on the offside, some overpitch bowlers, you see 16 runs between point and the third man region, and invariably Rahane always looks to play square of the wicket, plays besides the line and plays the cut a lot of time early on in his innings, when he's looking to counter attack, when he's looking to be very positive. And that's when I thought they should have bowled the wicket line. That's when I thought that they should have pitched the ball up. So that's why I gave them 6.
Okay, when he came on to bat, Ajinkya Rahane, at the fall of Cheteshwar Pujara's wicket, it seemed like a cat on a hot tin roof.
No, I wouldn't say that. I see sometimes you come in with a mindset that if I am thrown something, I'm going to have a go at it. Because on a wicket like this, which was juicy, sometimes you want to counter-attack with the right sense. I'm not saying that you just counter-attack just for the sake of it. You know that these are my areas. If they bowl there, I'm going to go for it. And that's exactly what he did. And then as soon as he got to around 25-30, he was a different batsman. So not on a hot tin
Two
roof.
interesting, sorry.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, there are two interesting things which you can observe with Rahane's batting on this tour so far. Number one is Virat Kohli in the press conference has given him green signal to go out and play fearlessly. Because what we have seen over the last 12 to 18 months, we have seen Rahane play a very subdued knock. Even in subcontinent condition, even when India went overseas. But when you saw the 2014-15 during that phase, Rahane always was a free-flowing batsman. Now what you saw in Adelaide and also today was he's going out and expressing himself. He's not playing shots which are very, very flamboyant or rash shots. He's playing to a plan, and whenever the ball is there to cut, he's going and playing that shot. Whenever the ball is there to be pulled, he's playing those shots. So I think it's a very intentional effort from Rahane, where he knows that I have to. The best way for me to score runs is by playing positive. In the past, I've tried to build my innings where I've occupied the crease for a long number of time, which happened against even West Indies in Hyderabad. But that's not really been an attacking Rahane's innings. And Rahane, whenever he's done well, he's always played that attacking knock.
Okay, Damien, what did it look like to you looking at that innings, especially the first 30 runs of looking at of Ajinkya Rahane? Was it more out of nervousness, or do you think, no, that was the game plan that he came out with?
Well, it's probably the question for him, isn't it? I mean, we can sometimes we've been in those positions batting, haven't you? And you're nervous, so you're trying to hit everything and trying to get off the quick score. We said that with Finch as well. You want to hit the ball and try and get ahead of the game of your scoring. But as Laxman said there, I think from Kohli's point of view, you try and talk to your batsman day and say, be attacking and flowing, but there's still a fine line, isn't it, between, it's Test cricket still. You've got to get in, you've got to find a foundation and build your innings. And the great players do that. And we're seeing that with Kohli at the moment. So it's trying to find that balance, isn't it, of playing yourself, playing attacking, but still a little bit defensive.
Okay, we've got a question also coming in for Ajinkya Rahane and the way he was batting. And the reason we're looking at, was it nervousness, was it confidence? Divij Gala wants to know, did Rahane's attacking display help him settle down on this pitch and also unsettle the bowlers' plans for him? Okay, that's the interesting bit. Unsettle the bowlers. Did it unsettle?
I don't know whether if it was unsettling, but it definitely woke them up. Because you don't expect, you think that, Pujara has got now 3 wickets down so quickly. And the next man coming in who's himself searching for runs. Yes, he did get runs in the last innings, but it's not been that kind of, what should I say, the last 12 months for Ajinkya Rahane as we all want him to do. So it could be that it definitely allowed Ajinkya Rahane to settle down because you play a few shots, things come off for you, you reach a reasonable amount of total for your own self, you've got the captain at the other end, and then you get on with it. But with the Australians, yes, that would have definitely woken them up and said, we need to do something else now.
Okay, going back to the bowlers, the way they performed, the Australian bowlers, as you gave them 6 points, the fast bowlers, but you ranked Nathan Lyon a bit higher. At the end of the day, Lyon doesn't have any wickets to show for. Why is it that you rated him that high, despite him not picking up?
It's control.
Okay.
It's control. I never ever rate a batsman or a bowler just by their performance. So performance is a byproduct of what you're trying to do there on the wicket. And I always see what is the game plan of a particular player and are they able to execute that game plan well. So what we saw with Nathan Lyon was he was able to execute his plan perfectly. He didn't get the rewards, but he was very consistent, the way you expect Nathan Lyon to be. He didn't try too much. He didn't try to overflight. He didn't try to bowl fast. He didn't try going round the wicket. I think he was there and thereabouts because he knows that what is his role and what is the best way for him to take wickets. Whereas from the fast bowler's point of view, I thought they over-tried because as a batsman, on this wicket, the toughest shot is playing the drive. On this wicket, the easiest shot is square outside the off stump where I get the room and there are no fielders back. Anything with the pace, with the bounce, you can easily help yourself to a boundary over the point region. So that was loose bowling. That was over-ambitious bowling. If they would have stuck to the discipline which just showed when Mulli Vijay and KL Rahul were batting early on, or the way they bowled when Pujara and Virat was batting, then it would have been fine. Rahane would have found it tough to score runs easily. The moment you get to a 20-25 quickly, even though you're nervous, you settle down. And I think those 25 runs came at a very quick pace for Rahane.
Okay, as he's saying, Lyon was bowling really well. Do you think one difference, I'm just looking at Virat Kohli, he got out to him, trying to prod the ball. He was looking to play a bit more rather than just keep prodding against Nathan Lyon. Could that be the reason that they haven't been able to dislodge?
Sometimes you prod because the ball's spinning and bouncing. And sometimes you play because you know that you're assured that it's not going to do that much. But you saw that nobody was allowed to dominate. The 22 overs with whatever number of runs he gave, it tells you a big story. Yes, he bowled beautifully. Sometimes your figures don't tell you how well you've bowled or what kind of control or what you have done for your side. At this moment on a second day pitch where there was not enough, there was a delivery which nearly got Virat Kohli when he left the ball. That was quite early on in the innings. It nearly shaved that off bail. So I seriously thought that with Nathan Lyon, you can just operate anyone else from the other end because he was still threatening. Although he didn't get a wicket, he was still there and thereabouts. It's just a question of getting that initial breakthrough, which every bowler needs. It could come early on in your spell or you still have to peg away and then you suddenly reap the rewards for what you've done. So he had a great day, I thought.
The difference between Adelaide and Perth so far is there's no rough patch for Nathan Lyon in front of the right-handers highs. So when
Which
there's
Mitchell Stark makes for.
so when there is a rough patch, the ball will grip a bit and then it will bounce. Whereas it's not gripping here, even though it's getting bounced, but it's skidding onto the batsman. So it becomes very easy for the batsman to use the pace to rotate the strike. The moment the ball starts gripping, then it becomes tough for the batsman.
Okay, so credit to the Indian batsmen as well, the way they've tackled Nathan Lyon up until this moment. Okay, we've got a question on Nathan Lyon, and I'll take that question to Damian Martin. Jiten wants to know, Lyon again did not have a silly mid-off in the final session. It seems Australia are reluctant to have a fielder in that position, even though it has altered the batsman's approach. Damian?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you might have to ask the spinner there really about that. But I mean, I think it just depends on what Nathan Lyon felt and how he's going about it. As I said, there's no rough there as well. Spinning the ball in, he might have thought there was better options and a wicket ball of somewhere else. I mean, yes, early on we said there's someone standing there in the batsman's face, but what Nathan Lyon, his field and his plans, he probably didn't want one there.
Okay,
One thing which he can do differently to Ajinkya Rahane is even to Ajinkya Rahane he did a long on. There was a short mid-on catching and a mid-wicket. And Ajinkya Rahane was stepping out and hitting between the short mid-on and mid-wicket. Ideally, you should have even the long on up. Force Ajinkya Rahane to play the aerial shot, which will always give you a chance of getting a wicket. So with Virat Kohli, you can know that Virat Kohli a lot of times can hit with the straight bat down the ground. But Ajinkya Rahane has a tendency of hitting with the turn, but he doesn't maintain his posture and position properly, so you can get a wicket there.
Okay, plenty of questions coming in on our YouTube feed as well. In fact, they're not questions, but largely comments, and most of them are about the Indian openers not being able to do well. Plenty of suggestions from fans, get Parthiv Patel up, I can see, get Rohit Sharma to open, bring Mayank Agarwal. Okay, plenty of suggestions, but just going back to the openers, I'll come to you, Karthik. That ball that dismissed KL Rahul, could he have done anything differently, or it was just too good a delivery?
See, it was a great delivery. It was a brilliant delivery. Early on in your innings, when you get something like that, you're always going to be in trouble. But what happens is that when you're in form, that's the difference between when you're in form and when you're not in form. So to Murli Vijay and to KL Rahul, if they had been in form, the same thing, you don't have that gap between the bat and bat, it hits the middle of the bat. And to KL Rahul, if he's in form, his head doesn't drop and he doesn't fall and he doesn't overbalance. But when you're not in form, those good deliveries seem to become even beautiful deliveries because of the fact that you're completely out of position. And that's the only difference, and that's why they are slightly out of form right now.
You mentioned earlier that probably now the openers will be put on notice. This is going to be a crucial match for them. The only thing that's even going to get worse for them, this probably was a better time to bat on. It'll only get worse when they're batting in the fourth innings. Too much pressure there.
Yeah, there will be pressure. But when you're out there playing for your country, when playing international match, you're not thinking about your place. I think the situation Indian team will be, and hopefully if Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane convert this into a big score, they may surpass even the Australian score. And if they can get a lead, things can be different. But even if they're chasing 150, 200, I think the role of the openers, both KL Rahul and Murli Vijay, is not about thinking about their place in the team. It's about how they can win the match for the team. And that's the best kind of approach, mindset you should have. If you have deep down question about your place in the team, then as it is you're struggling to score runs, then your reaction, your instincts will become slower and slower, and invariably that will affect your performance. So I think you have to just look at how you can get runs and what's the best way to get runs.
Okay, what would be a good total for India? That's something that we'll discuss. Whether India will manage to get that first innings lead, that also we'll discuss. But before that, let's talk about that man, King Kohli, as we like to call him. He's really come into his own. Damien, I come to you. We've already seen a few half centuries in this particular test match, but has Kohli looked the best out of that?
Certainly has, and we know how he bats, so he won't be happy with 80 either, really. We spoke earlier about him getting 200 and getting India a lead, and they're a big chance now. Even if India get a lead by 50, it makes it tough as well. It's not going to be a massive scoring in the back innings of this game. So, but as I said early on, Australia, they had opportunities, and our players got 50s and 60s and didn't go on with it. And if Kohli could go make a big one, and I just watching him bat with his teammates doing the partnerships, he sets the tone, doesn't he? He walks out there with confidence. He sets the tone and says, okay, this is how we're going to go about it. I'm the captain, I'm the leader, I'm going to set the example. And that gives extreme confidence all the way through the side.
Okay, he is certainly looking really good. Let's take a look at the wagon wheel and which are these places that he's got most of his runs in this innings. Remember, he is looking rather good. You could take that 20 runs he's got there on the offside. I mean, some of those, Karthik, some of those drives, you could frame those particular still images. How correct he looks.
Look, and that's why what you said, I think, was the mid-show when he was playing that he's batting on a different surface. And it seems like even in England, and those were naughty surfaces, those were literally troubling surfaces where the others were groping around for which way the ball was going to jag. And our man here was so sure-footed that every time it just hit that genius bat like a genius. So it's just unbelievable. Even today, those 2 wickets fell, and then he walks in, and to one of the most threatening bowlers, just a couple of flicks nonchalantly on the onside drive. And you look at it, 20, 6 and 13. So close to 19 runs on a surface which has got bounce. And people are struggling to drive, and he has done that on driven, flicked off the towards mid wicket, and even those drives, and those are proper front foot drives on the up.
Yeah.
And just the way he's so sure footed, whether it's back foot, front foot, and his idea of where his off stump was, touchwood, it was just brilliant batting.
Okay, and what was really interesting that the attack has been relentless for the Indian batsmen, because you've got Stark coming back into form, and then this is how he's performed against each one of them. Pat Cummins got 23 runs out of him, having faced 69 balls. Nathan Lyon also, look at that strike rate of 42, 75 strike rate against Hazelwood, someone we thought would be very, very dangerous, and then a strike rate of 36 there versus Mitchell Stark. The battle within battle, one we spoke about, Lyon versus Virat Kohli. Cummins versus Virat Kohli was also an exciting mini battle to watch.
I think that's very interesting, because Hazelwood 40 deliveries and 30 runs. Now amongst Cummins, Hazelwood and Stark, who pitched the ball more up? It was Hazelwood.
Right.
And who allowed him to drive a lot more? It was Hazelwood. So that also shows, we go by the wagon wheel, we go the amount of runs he scored, but whenever the length was little back, on a good length, on off stump, he was able to leave. Not even once did he play the on the right shot, which is a tough shot on this wicket, until and unless it's right underneath your highs, where you're stretching, and Virat Kohli's footwork is brilliant, where there's a long stride and a full face, side on, full face, or the technically current cover drive. So I think Hazelwood gave him that opportunity, whether on the offside or on the onside. So in between all these boundaries, there's so much of discipline which he has shown, where his off stump is. A couple of times he was beaten, and you could see that smile on his face that he did a mistake. And immediately you could see him getting back his thoughts and focusing again on the job at hand. And that was the reason why he was also successful in England, because the amount of discipline he showed, even if after getting a half century, after getting a century, is just not at all satisfied just by the scores. So I think that's very interesting. He's got a game plan. His game plan is very clear. To the fast bowlers, anything on the stumps is going to play on the onside, which by default is his strength, and anything which is on the length is ready to leave the ball and not really looking to play the back foot shots. And anything which is really pitched up, he's almost forcing the bowlers to bowl little fuller, which is he's able to drive.
Just to reiterate what VVS is saying, every time it's been the full balls, he ends up playing a shot. He's got a lot of force there. It's when it's shot of the good length, he knows that this is going to go really above his stumps, and has decided to leave those balls, and that has been really crucial. Damien, that's been the success mantra for him so far.
Also, there, as we mentioned about Kohli too, at times they just bowled too straight to him, I think, with the field. I mean, we saw in Adelaide, the big cover drive he nicked off early, and playing away from his body. So I think they could have gone with that plan as well for a while, bowling wide to him and making him be impatient, because someone like Kohli wants to hit the ball and wants to be in the game. And we saw that battle with McGrath and Tendulkar at times too, of not trying to bowl too straight. And so when we got straight, he was just a machine. He down the ground 4, 300 wicket. And I think, as we mentioned, Hazel was just too full at times, and he needs that McGrath length. Just pull it back a little bit around the off stump and make Kohli leave the ball, because he's in that sort of form now. He wants to hit it, so we've got to try and take that away from him.
Okay, interesting. He talks about sometime the Australian bowlers airing in line as well, and then over pitching once in a while, but that also brings you that wicket taking Yorker that Hazelwood got. Do you think, I'm just going back to the Indian bowlers, they didn't try enough of those Yorkers? I know that there is that problem there, you go for runs as Hazelwood has, but also brings you that wicket taking.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the bait which you always keep throwing. That's the carrot which you always dangle at the batsman every now and then, and that's where the bowlers gamble. You set him up, you take him somewhere, and then you try and do something which is taking you off where you have been. And look, they tried their level best. It's just that just now we spoke about two guys who are not in form. and sometimes you have somebody in form, he makes it look ridiculously easy. So,
Yeah, okay.
so that's what happens.
Right, of course, Virat Kohli in tremendous form at the moment. We've got more questions coming in. These questions now that we're going to be taking are from our Instagram feed. And Ani Chauhan wants to know, was Pujara's innings too defensive? PVS?
I mean, Pujara's innings, which was very similar, won the test match for Team
Yeah.
India in Adelaide. I think every batsman has got his own style, own approach of building his innings. And that's Pujara's style. And it will be very difficult for him to change his style or approach at this stage of his career. But what was very important was building that partnership with Virat Kohli. Because as a batsman, while it's individual skill, but you have to work in a pair, you know, and you have to make sure that you as a pair are helping the team to come out of the problem which they had. You know, losing 2 wickets, it was not only about scoring runs quickly, but it was also consuming time, tiring the Australian bowlers, almost making sure that they lose their patience. So I think that's a typical Pujara's game plan, a template to score runs, whether in India or in overseas conditions.
Okay, wasn't too defensive. It was just Cheteshwar Pujara, as VVS is saying. That is what helped India win that first test match that they played at Adelaide. Okay, we've got another question. This one I'll put to Damien Martin, and Pratik wants to know, who's been the best batsman on this wicket so far from both the playing 11s? And this is something that I asked you. I think it's just an extension of that question. Damien?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Definitely Kohli. So, and I think not just by he's on 80, it's just the way he's gone about it. All the good players make the wickets look easy, and even though it's not, they've got a great game plan. They work very hard, but it's a joy to watch. I think a joy to watch from even the Australians, you know, the public at the moment, him going about it.
Okay, we've got another question now. This one is also from our Instagram. No, this is from our Facebook feed, Deep Barot. India need to win this match if they want to believe they can win in Australia. Going 1-1 into Melbourne and Sydney is not good. Stating the obvious, is it?
I don't know. See, look, I don't know where he's got that stat from. But for a team which has done well in the first test match, and the fact that they've clawed their way back in this game, it's still an interesting test match. We don't know which way it's going to go, which way it's going to swing, because today was good for India, the way Ajinkya and Virat batted. But tomorrow is a brand new day, and the bowlers will be rested. And again, they could be on 81 and 50 respectively, but still, they start from naught. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm not taking anything for granted. If I'm the team, or if I'm the captain, you don't know which way it's going to go. Whether it's 1-all, 2-0, going into Melbourne and Sydney, we'll think about it later.
One thing is very clear, that they have to make this first innings count. They put themselves in good position, which they didn't start well with the loss of both the openers, but the 3 experienced batsmen, they really fought hard for the runs and the position India is in. And today has been overcast day. The wicket behaved probably the best we have seen so far, because yesterday post-lunch session, it was starting to get tough. It was misbehaving. Tomorrow, if the sun comes out and as the day progresses, it can deteriorate. So if India even can get a 50 runs lead here, and then with the cracks opening up, India has got 4 quality fast bowlers. Who knows? The Australian team also can be rattled quickly, and India can get out. So I think tomorrow's session from start till lunch will be the most crucial session, which decides the fate of this match.
All right, just like the session on day 2, the first session on day 2, it had 2 completely different results. In the beginning, it were the Indian batsmen that had to come back after Australia were all out, and then the Australian bowlers did rather well with the bat too. Let's see how the next session pans out when India come out to bat on day 3 as well. Okay, we've got some more questions. This one coming in for VVS Lakshman. Let's listen into this one. Pankaj Anup Kumar Manoja wants to know, Rishab Pant is always in hurry while batting. How would you guide Rishab to play sensible cricket rather than to attack all the time?
Yeah, I think that's something which is very important. Not only me, I think I'm hoping that Sanjay Banga, Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli, 3 of them, sit down with Rishab Pant, because there's no doubt that he's got abundance of talent. Now the important thing is, as if you have to be successful at test match cricket, especially if you got a lot of shots at your disposal, you have to know what shots you can play, and that shot selection becomes very important based on the conditions you're playing on and the opposition bowlers you're playing on. And the situation sometimes becomes very paramount for you to choose that shots which you can play. So for Rishabh, to, even before he walks out to bat, he has to know that what are the shots he can play on this surface and look to only play or score runs of those shots. And the other deliveries, he should be patient enough to leave them or play defensively. But if he's going out and looking to score a boundary of each and every delivery, it will not happen in international cricket. It can happen in T20 cricket, but it will not happen in Test match cricket, especially if you're playing on this kind of wickets against quality fast bowlers. So it's very important for Rishab Pant to know what are the shots which can fetch him runs on this wicket and what are the areas where he has to be a little careful. And that is the formula to score runs and have consistency.
All right, one final question there from one of our viewers, and this one is for Damien Martin. Amrit Pal Singh Dhillon wants to know, what extent does this new Perth wicket resemble the Wacker wicket of old? Damien?
Well, that's an open question. I mean, it's not the old Wacker wicket in before I played. I think in the end, the Wacker wicket was cracking up and was struggling. We saw the old Test matches where there's big cracks and you put your bat in it. So that's why they changed it. This is interesting. You know, it's not quite like it. It's green. It's the greenest one I've seen at the Wacker. Well, not the Wacker, but even in Perth at all. So probably got its own sort of style now. It's going to be its own style going forward. We'll never see that quick, white, bouncy wicket again. And this is the way it's moving forward. But I'm interested the next couple of days. How will it go with the weather? Will the cracks open up more? Will it start a bit more turn? We'll see how it goes in a Test match conditions.
All right, talking about weather, rain is predicted on day 3 of the Test match. Okay.